Well, Patricia, welcome to the programme. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining us. You work very much with prostitutes in Thailand, Germany, all over the world. How did you first get involved?
Well, it's so long ago now, I've almost forgotten. But I was invited by a mission organisation that I initially went to Thailand with, Servants to Asia's Urban Poor, to join a kind of an exploratory trip. And we had an initiation program set up for us, orientation. And one of the things that we did, we were taken around the red light district in Bangkok, Pat Pong Road, which is notorious. And we had a Thai woman who was teaching English to bar girls come and speak to us, and she invited me to go and join her English classes. And so God really just, I guess, just touched my heart. And we were staying in a cheap guest house, and there was a situation there which we came to see was human trafficking, where girls were being brought from the villages, and then they were working in this guest house as waitresses for a little while, and then they were being sold into brothels. And I saw this whole thing happen, and it just gave me a determination to try to do something about it.
Because your background was social work and psychology, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have a degree majoring in psychology, community psychology from Waikato. But, and I had worked in social welfare and institutional care, and also a friend and I had run a private Christian home for girls, Landmark Homes in Hamilton, for several years. And we'd had one or two girls that moonlighted out the windows at night and, you know, connected with guys down the main street, but not, well, they prostituted themselves, but I'm not even sure that they did it for money rather than just a bit of excitement. I'm not sure.
Because in Thailand, it's a huge money in. It brings vast amounts of foreign revenue in, doesn't it?
Yes.
That must make it attractive for families in some ways.
Oh, well, it's attractive, but it's also desperation, because many of these women, and when I say women, some of them are 14, 15, come from the villages, and you know, Thailand is a rapidly developing country in one way, but in another way it's still quite a poor country. I mean, there are many poor people, and so they come looking for jobs, and they don't have much education and work experience, so that's what's available. But it's not just Thailand. I mean, it's happening all over the world. I mean, in Europe, where I'm working now in Berlin, we have a project called Alabaster Jar, and we go out on the streets, 2 different areas, once a week on each, and we also operate a cafe one afternoon and evening a week. And we're working with a lot of women from Eastern Europe, and they're very young, and many of them are coming to make money for their families. And I've been into some of these countries, and there is a lot of poverty. And again, once these countries come into the European Union, you know, there's a lot of money available for infrastructure and development in that sense, but there's not so much money available for creating jobs and education and so on.
There are 2 sides to the equation, and just recently we've had a case of a man who was organising sex tours to Thailand. So is that common?
Yes, very.
Here or everywhere?
Everywhere. I think the whole area of prostitution and human trafficking is increasing. I heard it forecast by somebody that I just don't remember the date now, but it's in the very near future, that human trafficking would overtake arms and drugs trafficking as the #1 criminal trade in the world.
Wow.
When I first went to Germany in 2005, it was known as the sex market for Thai women in Europe.
Is it hard for you, when you've been campaigning against this for so long, is it hard for you to carry on? Because when you see the trade growing like that, you must feel you're just fighting a losing battle.
Well, sometimes you do, and it seems that the more you create awareness and the more people that are getting involved, because there are many, many more groups springing up all the time now, Christian ministries to women, adult women in prostitution. It seems, you know, the opposite side, it's sort of growing too. But I believe that a lot of this is spiritually based, and you know, we not just have to confront what is happening in the natural, but also in the spiritual. It's just a call of God on my life, but it's also just a passion that He's put there to to see something happen that one day this will end.
So what can we do to end it? We're not powerless, are we?
No, we're not powerless. I think we often think we are. And a friend of mine in Havelock North went recently to see the movie The Whistleblower. And this is just an example of what we can do. And at the interval, it was a matinee, there were not a lot of people there, but she just stood up and she said, could I have 2 minutes of your time?
Wow.
And she said, we've all seen this movie now. And she said, this is happening in New Zealand. She said, we've just had somebody in it speaking in our church, which was me, who has been talking about this and in relation to New Zealand. And she said, we've seen this now and we need to do something about it. And if you're interested, I'm going to wait for 5 minutes and I will give you my phone number and, you know, if you're interested, and we can maybe do something. So 2 or 3 people came and took her number. So I don't know what's happened since then, but I just felt so proud of her when she told me. It's not a moral issue. It's an issue of you know, creating awareness of what happens and the destruction of yourself, because it's, you know, prostitution, and it includes rape and violence and all the rest, is an extreme abuse of human dignity and violation of human rights. And it's destruction of the human person, the human spirit. There's quite a move with different groups to try and adopt the Swedish model, which is into New Zealand law, which is where the man, the client, is criminalised, but the woman is not. And that's been very effective in Sweden, thus its name, the Swedish model. And I've been involved in an initiative in Germany where we're trying to encourage people to lobby the government to raise the legal age of entry into prostitution from 18 to 21, because these are very vital years in human development. And also we see that as a way of combating trafficking of younger people and forcing younger women into prostitution. Prayer, of course, and just making a noise, talking about it.
I think when it comes to persistence and determination, you're a lesson to us all. Patricia, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.